In this video, we're going to quickly cover the results from yesterday's primary, June 2nd, 2026. We've got 6 states to get through. There's a lot of races. We're going to go quick. We did do a 4.5-hour stream last night, so thanks to everybody that showed up. But at the time I'm making this video, there's still some vote to come in and some outstanding races. But let's start in California. Here's the big one for governor. It's a top 2 primary, and only 55% of the vote in, but the top 2 right now are Steve Hilton and Javier Becerra. Tom Steyer is on the outside looking in. Now, this state is known for its very, very slow counting. Take note of this. In the 2024 primary, about half of the results were reported by 5 a.m. Eastern the day after the election. It took 10 days before 95% of the results were reported. So that is way, way too long. Especially in a close race, we might not know what's going to happen for a while. But for right now, we'll assume it's Hilton and Becerra. In the general election, the Dems are going to be the clear favorites. Now, there's a lot of results here. We're not going to go over all of them. We've got Lieutenant Governor here. Here's Attorney General. Then we've got Los Angeles Mayor. This is the other big race. And Mayor Karen Bass has advanced to the general. Second place is still up in the air. Spencer Pratt, the Republican-aligned candidate, is in second with 29. The more progressive Nithya Raman is under 22. But from what I see in the betting markets, it looks really, really close. Apparently some of the vote dumps that have come in have heavily favored Bass and Raman. So we'll see what happens with that one, but either way, Karen Bass is moving on. And we've got a bunch of House races here. Now point out the ones that are highlighted here on New York Times. First, here's the 1st District, and this is actually a special election. This is to fill the remainder of the seat held by Doug LaMalfa, who died in office. Now, the map has been changed in this state for the next election, but because this is a special, it's on the current map used in the last one. So it's a pretty Republican district, and the winner here is James Gallagher. He cleared 50%, he's going to head right into office. So Republicans are going to gain a seat there. Here's the 6th District. Kevin Kiley, the Republican turned independent. He's in the lead at about 27% with less than half the vote in. So a lot of questions here, but either way, on the new map, Cook Political Report rates this as solid D in November. In the 11th, this is Nancy Pelosi's district, super, super blue. And moving on is Scott Wiener. Looks like he's ahead of the more progressive challengers, so he could face Connie Chan in the general, but he is ahead by more than 12 points. Here's the 22nd. This is the David Valadao district. He's moving on to the general. He's going to face one of these 2 Democrats. The one that's more progressive is in the lead. That's Randy Villegas. And Cook has this rated as a toss-up now on the new map. So certainly a consequential district right here. Here's the 40th. This is a battle between 2 Republicans on the new map. Ken Calvert is moving on. Young Kim, she's probably going to move on, but she hasn't clinched a spot yet. She's only under 22%. So 2 incumbents going at it, and in the general election, this is rated as solid R, one of the few Republican districts in the state. And last, we've got the 48th. This is the district held by Darrell Issa. The leader right now is Republican Jim Desmond. The Democrat moving on is Marnie Von Wilpert. It's rated as lean D by Cook. So Dems probably picking this one up. Now let's move on to some other states. We've got Iowa. This is where the big upset happened. First in the U.S. Senate, the matchup is set between Ashley Hinson, the Republican, and Josh Turek, the Democrat. Not a surprise at all, they're going to battle it out to replace Joni Ernst in the open seat. Now, governor, this is where the action was. It's also an open seat, and the Republican that won is Zach Lane. He defeated Trump-endorsed U.S. Congressman Randy Feenstra. Both of them under 38%, but Lane pulled it out by less than 1. So kind of an unusual looking map here with the colors. But that's a blow to Trump. It could be beneficial to the Republicans in the general election, because they're going to face Rob Sand, where Dems have high hopes at actually flipping the seat. So this is clearly an upset, but so far it's just in the primary. We've also got the U.S. House. Not a lot to look at here. I can't go over every single district. And then we've got some other statewide races. Feel free to pause it if you'd like. The couple of races to single out in the House here are in the 1st. It's going to be a rematch between Christina Bohannon for the Dems against incumbent Republican Marionette Miller Meeks. Those 2 have faced off before. Meeks has had success, but this year could absolutely be different. So a good race to watch. Then we've got the 2nd District. This is to replace Ashley Hinson, who of course ran for the Senate. The Republican winner here is Joe Mitchell. He's over 61%. At the general, he's going to face Lindsey James, the Democrat, where the Republicans are going to be favored. Then let's move on to South Dakota. Here's the Senate. Mike Rounds, the incumbent. He cruised with 76% of the vote. In the general, he's going to be heavily favored. Then there's more excitement here for governor. Now, there is a runoff here, but the leader right now is Toby Doden. He's leading incumbent Governor Larry Roden. Roden might make it, but Dusty Johnson, U.S. Congressman, he's also on the outside looking in. But so far, 4 candidates, over 20%. That's impressive. I think Doden is kind of the unknown here, and it looks like he's having success. The runoff is anybody's guess. Meanwhile, they're going to go on to the general election and face Dan Allers. And we've got the U.S. House District, which is open now. Marty Jackley, the Attorney General, is the winner. He's at 79%. Into the general, he's going to be heavily favored. The other races are right here. Again, pause it if you'd like. Let's move on to New Mexico. In the Senate, no contest here. Incumbent Ben Ray Lujan won. He's going on to November. Republicans have an interesting situation here where they had no candidates on the ballot. So Larry Marker is the write-in. It only says 8% of the vote in, but I think he has enough to actually make the general election ballot. Either way, Lujan completely favored in November. Then governor, we've got an open seat. Deb Haaland is the winner for the Dems. She cruised over Sam Bregman. She's going to be clearly favored over Greg Hall, the Republican. He won by about 10% over Doug Turner. We've also got the lieutenant governor's race here. It's lopsided for the Dems. It's a little bit closer for the Republicans. Then we've got the U.S. House. Not much action here. Then we've got the state legislature and then some other statewide offices. Because there's so much going on, we can't go over everything. But again, pause it if you'd like. Let's move on to Montana for the U.S. Senate. It's an open seat now. Kurt Alme is the Republican nominee. Now for the Dems, their nominee is Alani Bankhead, but take note of Seth Bodner here, an independent. He could make it interesting in the general. We'll see what happens with those dynamics, but other than that, we've got the U.S. House. And the first district we could look a little closer at. This is in the western part of the state. It's an open seat. Ryan Zinke's retiring. The winner for the Republicans is Trump-endorsed Aaron Flint. He's at just about 50%. So this is a red-leaning district, but it's not overwhelming. There's a chance that this could be in play if there's a big enough blue wave. And for the Dems, looks like more vote came in here and Sam Forstag took the lead over Ryan Bussey. Forstag is the more progressive candidate. So definitely some interesting dynamics here. But again, still some vote to come in. We'll see what happens in the general. Finally, we've got New Jersey. Not a ton of action here, but we do have the U.S. Senate. For the Republicans, the winner is Justin Murphy. He's going to go on to face incumbent Cory Booker. Booker very heavily favored in November. And then we've got a couple of U.S. House districts here. Here's the 7th. For the Dems, it's Rebecca Bennett. She won the right to challenge incumbent Republican Tom Keene. Keene has been notably absent from Congress, and this district only has a mild red lean to it, so Dems could easily flip it in any kind of a blue wave. Finally, we've got the 12th district. This is to replace Democrat Bonnie Watson Coleman. It's super safe in the general, and the winner here is Adam Homowy. Only 28% of the vote here, but in the general, it's easily going to go blue. So that's a quick recap across 6 different states. Definitely still got to wait to see what the final totals are, especially in California. But a decent upset in Iowa. South Dakota is also interesting. But I'm going to leave it there for now, so let me know in the comments. What do you think about any of the results in any of these states? What's going to happen in that LA mayor's race? How about for governor? How do you think the dynamics in the Iowa race are going to change? What about any of these other down ballot, under the radar races? Let me know what you're looking at down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.